Hello, and welcome to the first session of Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. I'm Alex, and I'm going to be the DM for this campaign. Things are going to start a little bit different from how we start most of our one-shots. I'm not going to have the characters introduce themselves right out the gate. That'll happen a little bit more naturally as the game flow kind of unfolds. That way it can be more of an immersive experience for everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with Icewind Dale, and I'm gonna go ahead and start this music here, which should be a little, hopefully working, maybe in roll 20. All right, so our adventure starts in the frozen north of Faerun in Icewind Dale. We have different adventurers who have come together, and they have decided to embark on this journey to make their way through this frozen wasteland to kind of see what problems they can solve, to see how they can help this area to kind of develop themselves, become stronger, faster, better overall, save who they need to save, and generally bring more of a peaceful climate to this northern area of Faerun. Faerun, or Icewind Dale itself, is somewhat a perennial darkness to the point where it's dusky all of the time from dawn until dusk. Light really only shines from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And during that time, it isn't even that bright. It's darker the rest of the time since you're so far north and light is so restricted. So you have that, you have the environmental hazards of avalanches and freezing to death, and you have hungry animals and citizens of this country who are doing everything in their best to survive these harsh, just desolate um, conditions. But before we get into the adventures of our characters, we're going to go ahead and talk about how we got to where we are today. Solus, you find yourself in a darkened, candlelit room, sitting across a 15-foot table across from a taller-looking individual. A hood pulled low down over their face, only revealing their mouth and a pointed chin with a long, twisted silver beard with a golden braid weaved in. They seem to have blonde hair hanging lower towards their shoulder on the left side of their hood. Long, bony fingers extend from underneath their cloak, tapping on the table as if waiting for something. A few minutes go by as you sit in tense, unbreakable silence with this figure. When the tapping finally stops, you hear the voice say, "Why, thank you, Millwright. That is the information I have been waiting for." They turn their attention to you, Solus, and say, "Solus, thank you for coming in on such short notice and with such discrepancy. Your eagerness to work always impresses me. The reason I've called you here today is that we have some information we need you to verify and we need you to act upon. And we fully expect that you'll take this job. If not for us or for you, but for his sake." And then he waits.
Shoot. Okay, yeah, I'll for sure take the job.
He nods, still hood pulled down over their face so you cannot see where this voice is coming from. Now, for the business at hand. We believe there are some very credible threats to the far north of Faerun, up in Icewind Dale. We know of two, but we need you to go, investigate further, and either verify or discredit the level of threat that they present. First threat. There have been rumors of an arcane brotherhood, an organization of wizards based, from best we have gathered, somewhere near Luskan. We don't know where that is. We don't know what Luskan is or what it has there. We just know that's where they probably are. But you're smart. You can probably figure it out. We also know that there is Dark Shadow Network. We don't have much information on them. All we know is that their name is Zentarim, and they're trying to control all of the trade in the north and encroach south to our territory. And you know that cannot be accepted. Do you have any questions?
What was the name of the second one again?
Zentarim. Zhentarrim.
Okay, so I just need to check out if these guys are a threat to us?
Yes, we need you to, and if they are in fact a threat, eliminate them.
That will be done. You can count on me.
They nod, and you see them take their long, bony fingers of their right hand that they were previously tapping on the table with and reach into their cloak. And they pull out a scroll. This scroll seems to have dark ebony ends on it, and it seems to be the scroll itself is within inside of a scroll holder. The two ends are of a dark ebony coloration. The actual scroll holder itself is like a deep emerald. It seems to be very, very magical, and he slides it to you and says, "This will take you just outside Dugan's Hole, and this gear." He points across the room, and inside of this bag is a rucksack full of all of your starting equipment and your cold weather gear. Will keep you alive for at least a little while. Remember, if you're caught, you're not a part of us. You never were. If you betray us, everything in your world will be eviscerated quickly. Help can be found when it's needed most, but you'll never see it coming. Don't expect support, because you know there isn't any. I fully expect you to die in the north, but that's a risk you earn when you cross our path. Good luck, don't die, and prove that your future is worth caring about.
Okay.
That scroll, just for your information out of the game, is a scroll of teleportation too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Morthos. Yes, I said Solus. Solas. You guys have similar names.
Oh wait, you said Solus?
Yes.
So.
Oh, that was me.
Oh shoot, that was him. Oh.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. Okay.
Well, Morthos, you find yourself in a small one-person camp near the red waters of Icewind Dale, tinkering with the natural resources of your area: wood, stone, some metallic ore. You're upgrading portions of your body, as you do to maintain yourself, and learning more about surviving in the frozen tundra every day. As you start to feel the temperature drop to the normal -49 degrees and the biting wind blow through your body, getting colder and colder, can you go ahead and give me a charisma saving throw, please?
I shall do so. You couldn't have chosen a better one for me to roll with my -1 to charisma.
You start to hear a voice in your head, ushering you towards these waters. You hear, "Come to me, Morthos. I have a gift for you." You start to feel your body, out of your control, slowly trudging through the snow, step by solitary step, towards the icy depths of these waters. As you approach the edge of the water, this voice once again appears in your head, saying, "Come on in, Morthos. The water is fine." Go ahead and make a wisdom save, please.
Boy, you were loving these, choosing the right ones for me to roll with.
You feel your body still out of your control. Mentally, you are screaming at your body to stop moving, but it doesn't seem to be responding to you at all. You feel your body walking into the lake, down into the dark, cold depths of this frozen hell you walk. 20, 30, 50, 100 meters down, you continue to walk. Any other creature who would need to breathe would have fallen unconscious and died at this point. As you travel further and further into this watery grave, you get to the bottom, and you hear a cacophony of laughter from an entity that you cannot see. And as the seconds, which feel like hours, pass, you hear that voice in your head once again, saying, "Morthos, I have a gift for you." What do you do?
I ask the voice politely for my gift.
They chuckle to themselves, and that exact moment, you feel a searing pain inside of your abdomen. You feel as if your inorganic parts are being melted in a forge, and your organic parts are being thrown ablaze like someone both set you on fire and poured acid inside of you at the same time. This feels like it's going on for an eternity, and just as you feel your life force is ending, you black out. You awake on the shores of this lake, not knowing what happened or how you got back to the surface. You feel you have control of your body again, as when you move your limbs and your neck and your fingers, you can feel everything responding as you're used to. Your abdomen seems to be intact, and you seem to feel no pain. Just a strange sense that what just happened to you was what humanoids would describe as a dream, which is odd for you because that's not something you've ever done. You've never slept, you've never dreamed. So this feeling that you have is of the utmost strange. This is not something that you've ever had happen to you before. Taking in your surroundings for another few minutes, you remember why you were sent to Icewind Dale. As you start to pack up your camp, collect your things, and reread the letter inscribed with very expensive ink requesting help from Dugan Toll, you finish packing up and you make your way there, feeling that this is where your skills are needed the most. Okay.
All right. I feel ripped off, and I don't know why.
Atticus,
Aye.
lost in thought about your family and a life well lived, grizzled face lit by the warm glow of a dying fire and the early hours of the morning, you find yourself staring at a stone that you've had as long as you can remember. Kept as a mantelpiece as a reward from some task you completed in your youth. You carry it with you as a reminder of a life well lived and a home that was once yours but is no longer. You stare at the symbol on this stone for a long while. This symbol is a human skull pierced with 3 arrows, until a strange but familiar sensation occurs in your mind. You close your eyes and you have this vision of a very well-built orc fighting dwarves. Watching this battle unfold, you see this orc eventually be struck down by these dwarves. But the spirit of this orc rises and comes to sit by you. You've grown accustomed to the presence of Vakar the Eyebiter at this point. He looks at you and says, "Have we decided to help that small town that sent you 4 letters so far? They say wolves are extorting the townfolk. The townsfolk can't do anything about it. We decided what to do."
Atticus lets out a heavy sigh and pokes at the fire with his the branch that he's using as a poking stick. And as he just watches the embers kind of light a glow again, he turns to his I presume it's more like a vision of this orc, Vakar, and he says, I don't know what to do about wolves. I suppose I should try to help. My fighting days seem to be returned. And he looks down at his a sword that has not seen action in many decades and unsheaths it just enough to kind of see the engraving on the handle, and then just close it again and looks over to see if Vakar is still there, or if it's just his imagination.
It feels like it's both there, but not there. You see the wispy silhouette of him with your eyes open, and when you close your eyes, you see the full visage of Vokar. He turns to you again and says, they could really use you. I believe it is your destiny to help bring order and life back to this wasteland that took mine, and to all those that have had the misfortune to call this place home. You can still save a lot of lives, you know. Do you remember this? And he pulls out a spectral replication of a drawing that you previously did of you and all of your family sitting and smiling together at your old home, which you no longer call your home. This drawing's from many, many moons ago, but it reminds you of a time when you were happy, you were loved, you had those that you loved, and you had something worth fighting and protecting. He says, you can bring this same sense of happiness to the entirety of the North if you really wanted to. I know that you think fighting is a younger man's game, but you still have the ability to do what not many others can, and I'm always with you.
Atticus kind of swallows hard, almost getting choked up when he sees this old picture, and not touching his sword any longer, he kind of glances over at his wagon or his travel pack where he's got his long, or his actually it would be a short bow, is kind of tied to the backpack, and he's much more accustomed to utilizing a bow from hunting in his many years as a farmer than ever since he was an actual swordsman way back in his youth. And he looks back at Vakar and he would say, this might not be my town or my village, but it's very like it. I will do what I can. Thank you for your guidance, Vakar. And he glances down at the fire and then back to this skull that he's been holding, and then he looks back up and he looks again for Vakar, or if he's gone.
He is gone, but you do see the letters that you have that were sitting kind of in one of the front pockets of your pack. It seems that the seal, the buttons that were keeping them closed, the flap blows open, as you know that was Vakar's spirit opening it and kind of nudging you towards them. And you remember through reading these letters that it was Dugan's Hole that had been requesting your services or requesting anything you could do to help them. Okay. Okay, so over to Silas now. You find yourself walking, snowblind, in the freezing tundra for what feels like days. Body slowly feeling heavier, thoughts becoming cloudier, stamina waning away. You were walking for hours and hours and hours, trudging through snow that's getting deeper to the point where you're as deep as your knees in some places, the cold wind biting at you, slowing you down, making you feel tired and lethargic. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Not advantage. That's a 4.
You feel yourself fall face first into the snow. A sense of peace washing over you as you drift slowly off to a well-earned sleep. Just as you feel yourself completely falling asleep, you awaken in a sun-bathed, green-tinted field. Trees, flowers, and animals that you've never in your life seen. This place feels strange, yet oddly familiar. Like you've maybe been here in a dream, or a past life, but you cannot recall how, when, or why you were here before. What do you do?
Can I get up and, I don't know, go to one of the animals? See if they're friendly to me?
So as you walk up to these creatures, you walk up to try and get their attention, and then they seem to ignore you. You reach out to try and touch them, and they run off, not seem to be bothered by your presence, but also not wanting to engage with you. After what feels like a few hours go by, you see sprouting from the ground thin, tree-like branches starting to rise from the ground, leaves falling off of them, but new leaves immediately replacing them. You see rising from this ground a male stag, the size of which you have never seen. Alabaster fur, red eyes, pink nose, with an 8-foot tall rack of antlers that you previously thought were a tree. They look at you and call out to you in Celestial. Silas, I see you are once again in need of my power. I gave you the life that you wanted, albeit a great sacrifice. But now you seem to be running away from that gift. Are you not grateful for what I have done for you? And you feel vines wrap up from the ground, binding your limbs to your body, rendering you unable to move. You can still speak and you can still breathe, but you cannot physically move. What do you do?
We're gonna tell the Celestial that what I created, while I still love it, does not mean that it loves me back and that it's trying to kill me. And I can't be around it because I can't fight it. So I need to run away from it.
Running will never solve the problem. It seems that you have died and returned to me here. Is staying dead something that you wish? Or do you just see that, as I do, as the weak way to get away from one of your problems?
I want to live, but I don't know how to deal with my problems.
That is something you will learn in time. But for now, I will return you to the world of the living on one condition. You free the North from the frozen clutches of the goddess that binds it to eternal darkness. Only then will you be free from your past and able to push forth and live the life that you desire.
Okay, I can do that.
By uttering my name, Lequiri, Lequiri, you will be returned to your body with the charge of freeing the land so that my children can live in peace once again. But know this, if you betray my trust and my honor in you, I will bring your problem directly to you, and I will empower them to destroy you without hesitation. And at that moment, you wake up on the side of the road, body intact, everything fully functioning, but outside of a town that you've never been to. Not in the place where you fell asleep before. The sky is cloudless. It is dark. There's some snow on the ground, but not as deep as what you were in before. You look around, and you see a sign. It says Dugan's Hole. That's where you find yourself. Bound over the mountain, we come to you. You find yourself walking southwest from the town of Goodmead, towards Dugan's Hole, when a strange, colder than normal breeze blows through the air, making all of the hairs on your neck stand up, and striking up a memory that you haven't thought about in quite some time. You see a hunched, 7-foot tall biped with the head of a snowy owl, black talons, cloven hooves, and a grayish white wolf fur covering their body from the neck down. Protruding from the feathery owl's head is a pair of curved goat horns. A cloak and cowl made of pristine white snow conceals much of their tripartite form. Bounds over the mountain, they say. I see your strength to maintain peace in this land. And I wonder, can I have your ear?
What is it you wish of me?
There are forces here, at work, that wish to rid the North of the power of the dark and the cold, and replace it with fire, hatred, and death. They wish to tear away the norm and replace it with disgusting human creations. I need you to stop this corruption, protect this land. And if you do, I will bless you with many, many gifts.
He smiles. Well then, you have my axe.
I appreciate your willingness to be my champion. And you see these claws kind of unfurl and stroke on both sides of your face simultaneously, and your whole body turns into an immediate block of ice. Your whole form becomes frigid and frozen. Your lungs seems to freeze shut. All of the liquid in your body instantly flash freezes. You can still move your eyes, you can still hear, you still have all of your senses, and this is the greatest pain you have ever been in. You imagine that when water is poured and instantly turns to an ice cube and falls and shatters, that is what you imagine is going to happen to you. You are held in this position for 5, 10, 30, 300 minutes, you do not know. It feels like forever, and yet it feels like it's such a short amount of time. Almost as quickly as it happened, the ice shatters. You now see that your fur kind of has this sparkling glint to it. And you see that this creature that just gave you this power very slightly bows to you, not enough for it to be a deep, respectful bow, but just enough, a little deeper than a head nod, them being 7 foot tall. And they say, "Go, my child, and rid this kingdom of the scum that wish to scourge it with their presence. I have given you the power to survive longer than the normal citizen of this country. Go forth, be my champion. But I do have one more gift for you before I leave." And she flashes her cloak and kind of brushes you over the face with it. And it looks like you almost get sucked into a full darkened dimension, and you start seeing flashes all around you of different images. And as you watch these, as you try to collect your senses around you, you start to see flashes of other tabaxi in Icewind Dale. You don't know where, you don't know when these things were happening. None of these flashes include you, but you feel deep, deep down in your bones that what you're seeing are true flashes. You have no reason to believe that they're not. This goes on for 5 to 10 seconds. You see maybe 6 or 7 different flashes of tabaxi in different places, and then boom, you're brought back to the icy tundra where she stands in front of you. She looks at you. She throws her cloak into the air, and it bursts and turns into owl's wings. She nods and says, "I will see you soon," and flaps away. You snap out of that memory as you're walking down the road, and you come upon a human woman laying on the ground outside of the town you know as Dugan's Hole. What do you do?
I will check her to make sure she's still alive.
Silas, how do you react to being checked by this tabaxi folk that you have never seen?
I look up and then I just sort of get on my butt and scoot away from him, sort of scared.
Ah, so I see you're still alive. Wondrous.
What do you want with me?
Just making sure that you're not dead. It'd be a shame to have to bury someone out here. Winters oftentimes claim those who are unprepared.
Have you been here before? You live here?
I am a traveler of sorts. I've been to many places.
Do you know any place we could stay for a while?
You know
Get some shelter.
from being well traveled in this area that there is no inn per se here, but there is a small grove of trees that is very thick and pretty protected from the elements, enough so that you could make camp and be able to, as safely as possible, camp and not freeze to death.
He will pass along that information.
Okay. As as the two of you have this conversation, you guys get to know each other a little bit over the next couple of days. And as 3, 4, 5 days go, you see a few more strangers appear in this town. You see Atticus appear in the town. Morthos comes to the town from Redwaters. Morthos is actually the first person that arrives in town after you, because Morthos is closest geographically. Then Atticus arrives, and then Solas eventually arrives in town. You guys spend a few days, since you have, at this point, really the only legitimate place to stay that's not somebody's house. You kind of just see each other in passing. And for where we need to be in the story, you guys spend the next week or so kind of figuring out why you've all been brought into Dugan's Hole together for different reasons. You travel, and your goal is to clear the north of humanity. Silas has been dropped here by a celestial being. Atticus has received letters from here. Morthos stumbles in from reading the letter that he had bringing him here, stumbling in from the waters, and Solas is also being sent here from whomever it is that has the job for him to complete up in this area of the world. But Icewind Dale itself has become trapped in perpetual winter. Ferocious blizzards make the mountain pass through the spine of the world, exceedingly treacherous. And this land has not felt the warmth of the sun in over 2 years. In fact, the sun no longer appears above the mountains, not even in what should be the height of summer. In this frozen tundra, darkness and bitter cold reign as king and queen hand in hand over the subjugated kingdom that is Icewind Dale. Most Dale residents blame Auril the Frostmaiden, the god of winter's wrath. The shimmering aurora that weaves across the sky each night is said to be her doing, a potent spell that keeps the sun at bay. Dale folk live in a scattering of settlements known as 10 towns. The drop-off in caravans coming from the south and travel between settlements in this never-ending winter has left everyone feeling isolated. Although each town has resolved to appease the Frostmaiden with sacrifices of one kind or another, no respite from the winter's fury seems forthcoming. For adventurers such as yourselves, 10 Towns is a place to test one's mettle and, in spite of heroes who have come before, leave one's mark on this frigid, blighted land. You guys now find yourself all collectively in this camp that you have made. You can go ahead now, introduce your characters, and any discussion that you want to have from finally coming together and meeting each other. So if you want to describe your characters first, just so kind of everybody has a bit of a view of what you are, and we'll just go left to right in Roll20. So Silas, you can go first.
Okay, so my character's name is Silas, who is a celestial warlock and gets her powers from a being above, I guess. And she's just running away at the moment, and her god brought her here. About it.
Morthos.
Hello, my character is Morthos. He is a Warforged artificer. He was sent here with a specific job, and he enjoys inventing new armors and the like.
Mountain.
Hello, I am known as Bones Over the Mountain, but most call me Mountain because they find it easier for some reason. I am a tabaxi, lynx to be more precise. Green eyes, some brown fur, and black stripes. I wear a necklace of fangs and claws, and carry a big axe. I don't really know much of my past or where I'm going, but this place seems to always get me where I need to go.
Alright, Solas.
I'm Solus, a high elf and a rogue. Honestly, I just came here. That's how the winds took me.
Okay. Atticus.
My name is Atticus. I look like a man, but if you look close, you can see my ears are pointed and my eyes are a little slanted. I'm a half-elf. I never knew my father, who was the elf. My mother was human, and I'm 65 years old, and yet, despite that age, I'm still fairly spry, with my elven heritage kind of playing a part in that. And I carry a fairly large pack. I bring a lot of firewood with me due to this never-ending winter, so we can keep ourselves warm through the nights. And with my gear, you'll see that I have a short bow for hunting, and I have a very old but well-kept longsword back from my soldier days in my previous years.
Anything you guys wish to discuss in your campsite?
Mountain will be like stirring a pot of stew.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any questions for the others. So.
Atticus is quietly just prepping more firewood. He's got one of his hand axes that he's just chopping it into manageable sizes. And for clarification, so we all are already a party at this point, having kind of met down here in the village, right?
Yes. Yes, you guys have all kind of been called towards this town, but as of yet, the town knows that you're there, but the person who has been sending letters and basically the point of contact has yet to make themselves known. So you've been told by the townsfolk just to kind of wait until they're ready and they'll come and get you. So their exact words are, "Wait and don't die." So as you guys are waiting, a couple of days go by, and then kind of early on your fourth day, earlier in the morning, a bundled up figure just walks briskly up to you, kind of more jovial than you would expect for someone living in these kind of in this environment, in this place that's not really ever bright. And say, "Well met. You seem like you're looking for work or trouble. You wouldn't be standing around in this cold otherwise. Nice to meet you. My name's Danica Greysteel. What you doing?"
Waiting.
"Oh, well, while you're waiting, clearly it doesn't look like you're busy. So, how would you feel about helping me make this place warmer?"
Yeah, it sounds like you might know why we're waiting.
"Cool, great, awesome. Um, I need you," and she points to all of you, "to go and collect me some chewingas. I think they will help make this place warmer. It will help kind of alleviate the climate a little bit, make it more comfortable to live here, and maybe people just be happier, like me, all of the time. I've been studying. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of studying. I have these books that I have from, well, before I was born, really from my parents, and they gave them to me. But I think I can use the information in them and these chewingas to go ahead and, make it warm around here, make people happier. Yeah. So yeah, I need you to go get me some chewingas.
Are you from the town?
Um, I mean, yeah, but no, but yeah. I mean, I guess maybe a little bit. They kind of kicked me out like 6 months ago. Yeah, they said I'm a lot. That's their exact words were, you, Gray Steel, you're a lot. And I kind of felt bad about that, but then I didn't, but then I did. But now I just kind of live outside the town in my little hut. And she kind of points over, and you can see, um, pretty far in the distance, behind a couple trees, you see this ramshackle looking hut, which if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't see it. It's kind of built pretty well into the natural camouflages of the area.
How old is this girl?
They are a half elf, like yourself, and they look to be on the younger side of being a half elf. So, she's younger than you, so I'd put her at like 40. So she looks real young.
I want to take a look over at my companions to see if anyone else is trying to address her or speak. If not, he will ask her a couple more questions.
Pawn would be probably watching on more warily.
Oh no, we lost someone. No, we didn't.
That was Sammy, yeah.
Oh, cool.
So,
I can pay you.
do
That
you
helps.
do you know if there's anyone who's been sending letters out for this? What's a chewingus?
So a chewinga, it is a wee little elemental. And it's kind of cute. Honestly, it looks like a little shadow demon thing with like a little like white face mask thing on it. Um, and it doesn't like have to eat or drink or anything. They're real tiny, and they're cute, and I feel like they can modify the weather around here.
What exactly do you plan on doing with it?
I'm gonna study it up close. I'm gonna see how they affect their natural environment. To see if I can use that elemental ability to change the weather.
I personally don't believe you.
You can roll an insight check if you want.
I'd also like to roll insight, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it. Okay. So you believe that she believes what she's talking about. She is very certain that if she can study some Chewinga, she thinks she can do this, for as improbable as it probably is and probably won't actually happen. She is very certain that studying these elementals will help her do this.
You know where we can find these?
Well, there's none in this town. I've looked all over for days and weeks, and I just can't find any, even using this. And she holds out a lantern of tracking elementals. She's, this is supposed to help me find them, but it's not actually worked. So I think that just means there's none around here, or it doesn't work. I don't know. And she like shakes it to see if it would do anything, and nothing happens when she shakes it. But you can use it. It might help you. Um, yeah, it might help you find it. Might help you find them in other towns, but not here. But I can give you money and this lantern. I'll give you 25 gold if you help me. That's about all I have. But I can't find them. Maybe you can.
Are these Chewingas real? Or are you just crazy?
Oh, they're real. They're totally real. I've seen them before. And that's how I thought about them, because I've seen them in different places when I've been traveling around the 10 towns. I know they exist. I just haven't seen one in a long time. And I thought that we might, well, have some somewhere else. Like, you can go to Goodmead. Goodmead might have some, or East Haven, or Bryn Shander, or Targos, or any of the other towns. They're probably there, but I can't travel there by myself. No, 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 no. I have to stay here. I have things I have to do.
I will lean towards Mountain a little bit, kind of putting down my hand axe into the wood and stepping over to the tabaxi, and I'm gonna ask him kind of in not a whisper, but just kind of more of a hushed tone. Do you think we can spare the time? We've been waiting for 4 days.
Um, might not hurt to look into it.
Are you the one that's been sending letters?
Nope. Nope, that was me. I can write letters and I can send them, but I have not been writing them. No. There's no specific common race of the whole land. It kind of differs a little bit from town to town and where people are. There's a lot of humans and
I'm just trying to figure out what language to give my character's second one because I never wrote down the languages they know.
oh.
And Tabaxis know common and one other language. So I'm just trying to figure out their other language.
There are.
Can
I
always
know there
roll
are.
for it.
Yeah, you could just roll for it and see what you get.
That's
Or you
fine.
can pick. Or there are the common ones like Dwarvish, Elvish, those kind of things. Goblin, Orc, you know. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna look kind of at the rest of the party and just kind of shrug and say, we've been waiting for 4 days. We're burning through our fuel, and nothing's happening. We've all received these letters, or one way or another, and no one's here to show us what's the problem. So I'm okay with getting some more of gold, so we can at least purchase some more supplies. So I will help you. And he kind of turns back to Danica and just kind of bows his head a little bit.
Oh, thank you, thank you so much. I will be here at my house whenever you find them. So come back and just bring me one, or three, or however many you can bring. Um, there are plenty of places you can go. The closest town is Goodmead, but after that, it's up to you. They might not be there, but they might be. So yeah, you guys take this, and she hands you the lantern of tracking elementals. And if you need me to link it, I can do that right now. So you can see what it does. Basically, within 300 feet of any elemental, the flame will burn green.
Okay.
But it doesn't tell you exactly where it is. And I'm going to be in my house whenever you're done. So come back here and I will give you your money. Okay? It's really cold. I'm going home. Bye. And like pulls her hood up, bundles up even tighter, and just like scurries off back to her house and just disappears.
Atticus also kind of cinches up his own cloak so it's a little bit tight around his neck, and then turns back to the rest and holds the lantern up, looking at it.
Okay. Well, now, guys, you think we should do this, or maybe we should wait a bit longer?
What did all your notes say? You all received letters, yes? I received 4 letters.
I haven't received letters, but I mean, I've know you've been getting letters, but my person said that I need to cleanse the north of the goddess holding it hostage, so something like that, and I guess making it warmer does sort of sound like it'd be doing that.
What's the goddess's name? It was Aura or something? The Frostmaiden?
Is something like that. I do not remember.
Do I know if the creature that was speaking to me has a name?
The one in your vision?
Yes.
Yes, they told you what their name was to get back onto the plane. It is Lequiri. Or are you
What's
talking
that?
about
What's that?
that was
That's
yours?
so yeah.
So okay, so yours. When I write multiple visions,
Mine was the more animal-like being.
you are not quite sure. You've heard rumors about what forms different gods and goddesses could take, and you've heard that they can often take avatars that aren't always of one special background. So you have a gut feeling that this was a deity of some type that took on a hybrid bestial avatar and granted you the power and the visions and the requests that they put of you when in your memory. So you don't specifically know who it is yet. Oh, yeah. So yeah, you don't know yet. You have a feeling it's a deity, but you don't know which one.
Makes sense.
Solas, did you get letters?
So I said I just felt like coming here, so I came here.
What about you, Silas?
My god sent me, the
That's
one
right.
who's giving me powers.
That's right. Morthos? I thought somebody else here got letters.
I've received a special type of letter. I doubt it.
Your letter, Morthos, also discussed how there are how the people in the town are being extorted by wolves, and that's not something that you personally would necessarily believe because wolves are wolves. So you can determine whether or not you think this person's full of crap, but the source that it came from holds weight with you. Whether the information is factual or not, you don't know, but the source you believe. You have no reason to distrust your source. So
Now, my letters mentioned wolves as well.
Extorted by wolves.
My I'm not good with letters and reading, but I understood it to mean that they were having trouble with wolves, but I assumed it was some sort of shaman or druid out there who's controlling wolves. That's an assumption, but that's what makes sense to me. Perhaps we can try to kill two birds in one stone. We haven't been greeted by anyone from the city, but if we go and try to find these elementals, these chewinga, perhaps we can also try to make sight of wolves and see what's going on. I'm tired
That
of
sounds like a
freezing here.
swell plan to me.
Yeah, I think I could get on with that plan.
I would like to give a suggestion. Before we
go for
leave,
it.
we should leave a note stating where we went in case the benefactor comes and we're gone.
That's a good point. Are you well written? Can you leave such a note?
Pretty good. I guess I'll write up a note just saying where we went and why.
Okay, cool. So where do you guys want to head first? I'll do this. Let me pull over the map so I can put you guys on it. It's at the very end of all these maps, and there's a whole bunch of them. Bum, 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 bum.
I'm assuming that the party has already like kind of walked through the town a bit.
Yeah, so you know that in this town, after walking through it, that there's a bunch of houses that people live in. There is also so you guys know from your time in the north and the information that you got, just the days in general that you've been here around Dugan's Hole. that there is a speaker, effectively a mayor, for each town, and then they all determine how they want to make sacrifices to Auril to keep their town safe. You know that those sacrifices are anywhere between sacrificing goods, so like foods and clothing and things like that, to human sacrifices. If they don't, so if they have the ability to give up food, they will give up food and other materials. If they don't have that ability because it's harder to get food in this part of the world, you know that they will also sacrifice humans to Auril to maintain safety over their town. And then you have also found out if they don't have the ability to sacrifice food or goods, and they don't have, and if sacrificing manpower or human power would really, really impact the town in a severe way, they will all sit outside with no fires and no cold weather clothing on for the whole night, overnight. And they will sacrifice their time and potential lives to them. And that's how they make sacrifices to maintain the safety of their town.
Kind of surprised they don't use travelers as sacrifices.
There aren't as many travelers in these towns as there once were. It may have been that they were sacrificing travelers before, and the word got around and people stopped kind of making their way this way. So, but as far as the maps for this, I will put you guys on the 10 towns. So this is the general 10 towns map, and you guys are down here by Dugan's Hole, right here. So you're kind of just outside of Dugan's Hole. That's where your little campsite is. And then this was Goodmead, where you walked from, and these were the Red Waters, where Morthos was. So, but yeah, you're all by Dugan's Hole, and you know from talking to Danica that there are no elementals here that she could find.
And they were suggesting going to Goodmead.
Yep. She said to go that. She suggested that just because if you follow along the road, that's the nearest town. Now you don't have to go there. You can cross the tundra if you want to, but all of this yellow is roads per se. They're actual they're not well maintained roads, but they are basically traveling paths that carts and horses and people can walk that are at least traversable.
Can I
think it'd be smart to go with her suggestion.
Can I roll to see if Atticus knows anything about the elementals? Like, what if they're fiery, or like where they would live, or anything like that for additional information?
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll a nature or a survival check on elemental.
Okay, I'll do survival.
Yeah, there's some woods there. That's not the woods
I
that
think that's
she lives in, but that is those are some woods. Yeah. 14 survival. So you know that they, being elementals, they can kind of live anywhere, whether that's taking shelter inside of a rock, a living plant, or a natural source of fresh water. You know that they can also hide in ice, they can hide in trees, they can basically shift their form to take shelter inside of any kind of natural item, like any part of nature it can go into. Like it can't go into a wooden house wall. Anything that's still alive and growing in nature, they can kind of poof into.
This is going to be like looking for a needle in the haystack. He's gonna look down at the lantern. Is it easy to light? Like, is it magic, or do I have to put oil in it or something?
You can just go ahead and light it. It's basically a magical lantern, and as soon as you light it, it will burn for 6 hours at a time. This one specifically doesn't require oil, but it will only burn for 6 hours at a time, and then it needs a 12-hour reset, just so it
Okay.
can kind of refill itself per se.
I think he wouldn't really know that, so he'd turn it on, and then he'll have to figure it out on the road unless someone else is magically inclined.
if anybody is proficient in Arcana, you can roll an Arcana check and you can go from there. Oh, 17. Yeah, so you would know that this magical lantern can be turned on and off basically at will, and once lit, it does have a time limit before it runs out for the day.
My magic is smashing things.
It's an efficient magic. Okay.
It's also good at putting people to sleep. Permanently.
Death. All right, so where do you guys want to head? What do you guys want to do?
So I think we should check the woods near Goodmead because the elementals could be there, and the wolves also should. That seems the most likely area for wolves around the area as well.
That's true. I mean, do elementals just wander around towns? It doesn't sound so like it, right? Or did she make it sound? I guess she
She
sort of
just-
made it sound like they were at towns.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
They're kind of just jumping around.
Silas, how close do we need to be with this lantern for it to do its magic?
We would need to be pretty close. I mean, we can't just spot them from a mile away. We'd have to be in the vicinity.
Okay, well, I don't know if this is going to do us very much good. I think he's right. We have to go into the forest, or maybe if they sell them in the market. I don't think these places their markets aren't very well stocked. I don't think they're going to just have chewingas for sale.
Yeah, that sounds like it wouldn't happen. Morthos, do you want to carry the lantern?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'll pass it over.
Okay. Where are you guys headed?
Let's head towards Goodmead and follow the road at first.
Yeah. We can go to Goodmead, and if there's none there, instead of going to East Haven or something, we could check out the woods.
Mountain, you would know from being very familiar with this area and literally just making this walk not too many days ago, that from Dugan's Hole to Goodmead is a tough but doable 4-hour walk. It's 6 miles from one to the other. So you would
It's
know.
about 6 hours from here to Goodmead.
You can get there in 4 if you really pushed it, but about 6 would probably be the safe bet. Yeah.
And Danica, she came in the early morning, right?
Yes, she came in the early morning, so she probably got you guys at about 8:30.
Okay. So let's pack up our camps. What little light we'll get will be around 10, and if it's 4 hours, we can do the journey with at least light.
So when it's not bright light, it's effectively dim light, so you can
Like
all
dusk?
see. It's like dusky. So this Icewind Dale is effectively always dusky at its brightest points, and then at about 8 o'clock at night until 10 o'clock the next morning, it is black. So you get dusk
And
from 8 in the morning, no, 10 in the morning. That's right. From 10 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, you get dusk, and it's brightest from 10 to 2. So 10 to 2, no vision problems as far as light is concerned at all. 2 to 8, you can see without dark vision. Your range is just going to be shorter because it's pretty getting dark. And then once 10 o'clock hits until the next morning, black. If you have dark vision, you can see, but otherwise it is black and really, really cold. More so at night than in the day, but it's really, really cold.
okay.
let's do a quick inventory of our group. Who has dark vision here? And I will raise my hand.
Mountain raises
So-
his.
Solus raises his hand.
Is that 3 people?
Morthos raises a torch.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like 3 people have dark vision. Although, I do have some magic that can maybe light our way a bit.
The other question is, how well can you handle the cold of night?
Well, if it's about the temperature, I don't know about how dark vision will help that, but I mean,
Well, that's another question.
I got some winter gear. I can hopefully. I think I could stay there for at least an hour, depending on how harsh the night is.
We can always use the pelts of these wolves for more blankets.
Well, do you guys want to start heading over to Goodmead?
Yes. To do, so yes.
Does anybody have a wagon or anything like that, or are we just gonna hike it?
We have to hike it.
How much money do we have all together? Could we maybe rent a wagon?
Atticus does not look very wealthy. I'll just say that.
Silas will have some money.
Well, Mountain basically just
I'm a
has.
broke ass.
Mountain basically has a great axe, a mace at his hip, a shield, some javelins, and his basic starting equipment and gear and winter gear.
Well, I'd probably be able to pay for a wagon. Should we look around? See if there's anyone who'd be willing to take us?
I'd be more interested in spending coin on a permanent thing like a tent, considering all I have is my bedroll. I can spend 50% of my coin on a tent in town here at Dugan's Hall. I think I will do that. That's 2-person if anyone wants to split it with me.
I will split it with you.
Okay. Take out a gold and I'll carry it. I think I can carry it. And I will pay the other gold.
A tent costs 2
If you
gold.
can't carry it, I can if you need it.
The Banes of level 1, man. You
Uh-huh.
don't have a lot.
I'll take a tent too.
Okay.
I'm gonna get one for my own. Could you carry that as well? How strong are you?
I will carry my own gear. That's all. I'm also
Oh.
carrying firewood.
Okay, I'll carry my tent then.
Can I purchase a tent also?
Well, since you're carrying my tent, I'll carry the firewood if you would like.
Okay, we can trade off. The firewood, it kind of digs into your shoulders after an hour.
Dean, would
I,
there be anyone?
My shoulders are metal. I don't think they're gonna dig in too much.
I will happily give you the firewood then.
Would there
So-
be anyone who'd take us to Goodmead for money?
So you look around the town, and do you explain to them why you need to go to Goodmead, or are you just asking people to drive you there?
Yeah, no, I'd just say like, hey, I have a little bit of money. Maybe you could take us over to Goodmead.
You come across a pretty gruff-looking dude. He's the only person who would really talk to you. Everybody else is trying to go about their business, get their work done, and get ready for the cold dark of the night again. Goodmead, you say?
Yes, sir. Good maid.
Well, I gotta be able to get there and get back in a day. And in my cart, that'd be there and back in 4 hours. That's saying that we don't run into anything out in the wild and that we don't run into a blizzard. And then he lists like 5 minutes worth of environmental hazards and other terrible, awful things that could happen. And at the end of it, he's just like, I think I can take you. It's gonna be a pretty penny for you though, because I gotta give up a day of work to do this.
Okay,
It's gonna
name the
cost
price.
you. You see him like do some math in his head and kind of think real hard, draw some numbers in the air, and squinting his face. He's like, all right, for getting my mule ready, getting the cart ready, packing it up with stuff, bringing everything just in case of danger, potentially having say an good mead, and then coming back. That'll run you at about 12 gold.
12 gold.
Jeez. No, I'm walking.
How about could we maybe lower it down to, I don't know, 9?
6 silver pennies.
You want to try and talk him down to 9 gold?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check with a DC of 16 because he doesn't matter because he doesn't really want to go. He just looks at you and just,
That's a perception.
oh yeah.
That
So
is
it's
a.
a
Ah!
it's a DC persuasion, a 16 persuasion.
I have a +1 in, or one more
Ah.
before. Ah!
So he looks at you and he scoffs. Huh, just for that, the price just went up. 20 gold.
20 gold!
You know what? You're gonna give us 9 gold for it.
No, okay. Now, everyone hold on.
Ah,
Okay.
I'm staring him down. 9 gold.
Go ahead and roll a intimidation check of the same DC, 16.
Good
Because now
things.
he furrows his brow. He looks at you and he kind of puffs up his chest. This hulking dwarven figure, which I know is oxymoronic, but in my mind it's a really funny image. He just like beefed out and looks at you and goes, no, I'm not taking you. You
How
don't scare
intelligent
me.
is this man?
Okay, everyone, calm down. Calm
Ignore
down.
that.
He doesn't look to be the smartest guy. He looks like he is very hardened by doing like very laborious activities that you imagine he does to survive. You imagine this guy does everything from fishing in the red waters to logging in close woods to fighting off any like animals that try and attack the place. But he also looks like he is very, very worn out and that he's been doing this for so long that his body is looking very broken for as thick and hulking as he is. You can tell just kind of staring him in the eyes a little bit. There's a deep sadness and exhaustion and just pent up frustration of not being able to control the situation that he's in.
Friend,
All right,
I don't
cool.
know.
I want to lie to him. I want to tell him that, sir, didn't you know that 9 gold is 3 more than 12 gold?
More
You see him do like the whole math thing in the air again, thinking about it, and you see him start trying to count on his fingers. 1, 2, 6, 4, 13, 32, 12, 9. Maybe? Go ahead and roll a persuasion check at advantage. Still 16.
Yes. Go. Go.
Can I roll deception since I'm lying to him?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Still at advantage?
Yeah, still at advantage.
Yeah,
He
I
looks.
did it.
He looks. You see him counting on his fingers, and he runs out of fingers because he's counted more than he has. He goes, kind of goes, you're right. I forgot how to count for a minute. 9 is more than 12. Let me go and get my stuff. Give me the gold. Give me the gold first, and I'll go get my stuff. And I'll meet you back here in 15 minutes.
Silas will hand him the gold.
Okay? Take 9 gold out of your inventory.
Yeah, I'm getting lower already.
So this man leaves. About 15 minutes
welcome.
later, he comes
Thank
back.
you.
He comes back, and you have this. There's another person with him. You imagine this might be his wife.
Oh no.
Why is this a no?
So his wife comes back with him and says, are you the ones who are paying my, smacks in back of the head, idiot of a husband to drive you to Goodmead?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, one, thank you for the gold. Two, yes, my husband's an idiot, but he's good-hearted. Don't just abuse people you don't know. That's rude. And three, if he dies, I'ma kill all of you. And then she looks at her husband. Well, stay safe, honey. Kisses him on the
Mountain will
cheek.
give her
Gets in
a
a
humble
sandwich and
bow.
leaves.
You can count on me to keep him safe, madam.
And she looks over her shoulder and she gives you a wink and just walks away. And she walks back to the house. And he's like, "All right, let's go." Hops up in his cart and covers himself, and like you look into his cart and it's lined with all kinds of different pelts and furs and things to generally keep it warm. It is a covered wagon, so you can climb in and it would be protected from the elements. You imagine that he uses this for trade or for carrying like wood if the elements are harsh, or like whenever he kills anything, putting it in there so it doesn't instantly freeze and turn to ice. It smells awful back here, but it will fit 4 of you in the back and then 1 of you at the front.
Mountain will take the
whoever-
front.
Okay. So in the front, his seat is also padded with furs and like pine needles, because those surprisingly, when packed together, keep heat in. So it's got coniferous pieces of trees in the front of his cart and some furs kind of everywhere. So you guys will keep warm while you're in the back and while you're in the front as well. So you would normally have to roll survival check if you're outside of the cart, but you being you don't have to. So, are you heading to Goodmead first? That's where he's taking you, or are you heading to the woods? With this man?
Kind of good mood.
Yeah, we're kind of good, mate.
Okay.
So Atticus will stay in the back of the wagon, kind of keeping his cloak bundled up over his nose so he doesn't have to maybe smell it quite so bad, and just tries to huddle up. He might even take out a little bit of his backpack, take the blanket out from his bedroll and kind of put it over his legs to try to keep as warm and comfortable as possible, seeing as how they no longer have to do this treacherous hike.
Okay. All right. And if it's cool with you guys, I want to take a quick 5 to 10 minute break because I have to go to the bathroom and I'm really thirsty.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's come back here at 5 till the hour then.
Okay, and I'll pause right
Okay.
now. 5, 4,
Sounds
2,
good.
1.
All right, back from our break now. So we left off. Our party had acquired a wagon with their hulking dwarven buddy, or should I say, chaperone, maybe?
Not funny.
At the threat of his wife to bring him back alive. So you guys get on the road and you start riding, and with the wagon, it cuts it from a solid 6 hours to 3. Because it being a wagon and not being the best road, has to go a little slower than you might like, but it still is a much easier travel. It's warm, and he gets you there, or he gets you on the road there.
During the
About
passage, are we able to get
Mhm.
his either name or?
Is he a
Yes.
talkative man?
He is not the most talkative man, but he is whistling to himself in, I wouldn't say like a jaunty, jovial tune, but more of just like a tune to kind of pass the time as he's all bundled up head to toe in all of these furs and coats and things to keep himself warm from the biting wind that is whipping through this land. The covering on the cart shakes with the wind, and you see that the flap kind of snaps back and forth in the wind every now and again, as some cold air will quickly brush through and then come back out. So you'll get a chill to your bones every now and again, those of you who are in the back. And then mountain in the front, you get all the whipping of the air, but it doesn't bother you as much as it would bother a normal person. One, because you're used to this kind of climate, and two, because I mean you're covered in fur, so
That's why he,
feel
like, again, that's why he volunteered to sit up front, because he's used to this kind of temperature and cold. He
But yes,
assumed the others probably not so much.
the driver's name, this hulking dwarven man, his name is Elric. Elric. Elrick. Why? Because he doesn't really know how to spell either. So he just kind of writes letters until they make the sound he wants. So, as you guys are about 2 hours into your 3-hour wagon journey, go ahead and make perception checks.
Being in the wagon, or is it the tent flaps all
So
down, or do we have visibility?
So they're all up. You won't have visibility, but if you're proficient in perception inside, you would be able to hear. Everyone can hear everything from inside, but if any of you are proficient in perception who are inside the back, you can roll at advantage because you're proficient in perception.
If I am
So.
proficient, so I guess I'll reroll.
Yeah, go for it. 17. Okay, so
Same.
yeah. So you guys kind of hear Mountain sees it because you're outside, and then both Morthos and Atticus inside, you hear it. You hear this screeching from those of you in the back. You hear the screeching from somewhere outside, and if you pop your head out, you can see up in the sky, just like Mountain. As you all turn and look, you see a family of griffins flying overhead. I'm gonna go ahead and do this right now. There's more than 2, but you see a family, 1 adult griffin and 3 smaller griffins flying around, and you see them basically flying in circles like a vulture. You hear the screeching of these griffins, and out of nowhere, this adult griffin dives down to the front of your wagon and latches on to Elric by his shoulders.
I would
Takes
like
his
to grab my mace and swing at the griffin.
Okay, go for it.
Mace.
13. It hits him for 9 bludgeoning damage. You hit this griffin enough to kind of knock him off kilter a little bit. He loses 1 talon grip on the shoulder, but the other one digs in just out of a wince of being hit in pain. So the talons dig deeper into the right shoulder of Elric, and he drags him off of the front of your cart and flies
Can
away with Elric. And you see 2 of the other ones dive down, 2 of the babies dive down And everybody can go ahead and roll initiative. What were you going to do as they're diving down?
Already dead?
I was gonna see if I could jump on top of the Griffin. Oh. Yeah,
You can
or
try
if it
and
all
jump
work.
on as he's going away. You can do it. You can do an athletics check at disadvantage since he is flying, and you swung him already. So you're kind of swinging and trying to catch yourself and jump. So if you want to make one at disadvantage, you
I
can.
didn't swing at him.
Oh, yeah, then you can try. Are you
That
in
was
the back?
Mountain.
Okay, if you're in the back, you would hear it, but it would still be disadvantage because you would have to run out and then try and jump super quickly.
I mean,
So
if
Anyways,
he
is it
can,
acrobatics or just athletics?
you can do acrobatics.
if Mountain
at
can try
disadvantage.
as well.
Yeah.
You said
And you said
that's
disadvantage?
It'll be at disadvantage for both of you. One, because you swung, and two, because you were in the back trying to run out.
okay, and that's acrobatics, or athletics.
Whichever one you would prefer. Yours would probably, mountains would probably be, yeah, there
Ah.
you go. It's 9. So, and then 27. So, you run and you jump up. You can't jump high enough to land on the Griffin, but you manage to wrap your arms around the waist of Elric and tear him from the grasp of the Griffin, ripping the claws out of the left-hand side of, basically ripping his left shoulder out. So you now have Elric on the ground. Both of his collarbones and shoulders have just been shredded by this Griffin, and you have 2 baby Griffins diving down. I'm gonna go ahead and roll initiative for these
Elric.
boys. Oh crap, did I hit that thing? No, it didn't do it. Sweet, it didn't erase everything. Good. And then this boy is here. 7 and 18. Great. Alright, Atticus, you are up. So you see the Griffin that had gone ahead and attacked started flying back up towards the other baby.
So at first, I think Atticus, when he first made this perception, he's hearing the noise of almost an eagle like screech in the air, and looking at the compatriots in the wagon in the back, he just kind of like says, "You guys hear something?" And then before anyone really has a chance to answer, the dwarf gets kind of scooped up, and Mountain and who was it? Was it Solus who kind of dove out also?
Yes, yes.
Mountain took a swing and then called out, "Front and center, everyone!"
And then at that point, Solus kind of jumped out and tried to tackle onto the Griffin as well. So
Okay.
I think for the way Atticus would react, he'd shout, "Ah, it's a blighting Griffin!" and then pull out his pack and try to untangle his bow from the side because it wasn't out, and he would string the bow, and I don't know if that would take his whole turn to kind of ready it, or if he'd have a chance to let off an arrow.
You could ready. We'd say since it was away, you can just use your movement or interact with an object to pull it and ready it and fire off an arrow.
Okay, so he'll kind of lean out to the front, and seeing as how there's 2 baby griffins coming down, he's going to loose an arrow at the first one that he sees that's still incoming.
Okay, so this one right here.
Yes. That's a 16.
16 does hit.
How come it didn't roll damage also?
I don't know.
Click
You can
on
play
short bow.
and it will roll it for you. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 8 damage.
Cool.
Gotcha.
For flavor, this map for this isn't correct per se. This is just so we have a token order and you can see where they are. So as of right now, these griffins are diving, and they are both about 30 feet away from you because they were pretty high up in the sky. So they're currently 30 feet above you, diving down an outlet.
Okay, so I'll be kind of leaning on the left side of the front of the wagon, still within, but with the canvas drawn, and kind of shooting up at it. And that's his turn.
Alright, Silas.
Okay. Can I cast Toll of the Dead on the one that got
This
hurt?
one right here.
The adult.
These are both the babies. The adult is flying back up into the sky right now.
Okay.
We'll just do this. I will name them so that they have names.
1
Alright.
damage. If they
It's
succeeds
a wisdom save.
Alright.
It rolled Oh no, Solus is not there. I'll put him on there. 15. Alright, Solus got a 16. Add turn. 16. Cool. Alright, so he made a 16 or 15 is what he rolled.
Okay, so he beat it. That
we'll
will
do
be it for
this.
me.
Alright, so you're on there now, Solus, and it didn't even throw anything too far to whack. So, young Griffin 2. I should have people put their names under their tokens, so I remember. Oh, this is you right here, right?
Yeah,
Silas.
it
Oh yeah, I
is.
can just look over there. So he sees you, trying to hit him with some bells, and he's gonna fly down and try and swing at you, which puts him in between you guys. And he is going to go ahead and take a beak and a claw attack. So he rolls a 19 on his beak attack and then a 7 on his claws attack.
Hold on. 19 for
So
sure hits.
5 piercing damage from his beak.
Okay.
All right, and that is his turn. Orthos.
So the other griffin hasn't dived down yet, right?
Yeah, he's still in the process, so that griffin's 30 feet above you guys right now. But he'll make it down on his turn.
I just want to prepare my spear, and I kind of want to like brace it against the wall so that when it dives down, it impels itself.
Jeez.
Okay. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
All right. Solus.
I would like to first make sure I'm standing over Elric so he can't be the target of the next Griffin attack.
Okay. You are over
And
his body. I don't have a token for him. But you're over.
and second, ready my short bow to take a shot at a Griffin wing.
Okay. All right. And are you, so you're aiming at one that's right there where the yellow dot is?
Sorry, can you
Or,
click that again?
oh, I was just wondering. Oh, are you drawing his body there?
I don't know. We can delete it.
That's funny. Yeah, so you're waiting until Griffin's close enough to shoot with the short bow, or what's the trigger for your action?
I'm just waiting for a Griffin to be in range.
Okay. Well, this Griffin over here, young Griffin 2, is in range of you if you want to shoot it because he is attacking him. This Griffin is still 30 feet up in the air. So you can shoot either one if you want, or you can hold your action until one's closer. That's up to you.
I'll wait till the flying one's closer so I can try to shoot it out of the air.
Okay. So once it comes down, both you and Morthos' attacks will trigger to hit him because he'll end up flying right into Morthos, and then you can shoot him right then. All right, Mountain, you're up.
All right. Well, time to make a chicken bird griffin shish kebab, I guess. Apparently I did not. Let me do a thing real quick here. Javelin. Javelins are 1d6.
I believe so, yeah. 1d6 plus strength.
Strength or dex if it's thrown. Right.
It should say on your thing.
I never added it,
Oh, let
but
me.
I'm assuming thrown would be dex.
It is 1d6 piercing thrown. We'll say for now it's dex. If you throw a hand axe, you strength. If you throw a dagger, you can use strength or dex. We'll just say for this it's dex, and if we change it in the future, we'll change it. But a 22
And
definitely hits.
aiming for the adults.
The adult that's up in the air.
Yep.
So that adult right now is 80 feet in the air because it has an 80 feet flying speed.
Let's see how far a javelin can be thrown real quick.
It is 30 and 120, so you would throw it at disadvantage if you're throwing it 80 feet in the air.
That's an impressive throw if you can do that.
Makes sense. You go to throw this javelin up at this adult griffin who can hear it go through the air, and it kind of starts spiraling. It's a perfect spiral of a throw. And this griffin turns around and just bats its wings in the air, and you see the wind that it produces to brush itself out of the way kind of takes the javelin and knocks it off course. So, all right. Young Griffin number 1 is this one. He's going to fly directly down at what looks to be a tasty morsel in Morthos, and so he's gonna roll that. So you can go ahead and roll your attack.
Okay, will I get any
Why?
advantages from making it try to impale itself?
We'll say if you hit on whatever the normal damage is on that, you can do an additional 1d4 impaling damage, and if you roll a nat 20, it will be we'll say restrained from being
It was
impaled.
a nat 1. It's fine.
That's fine. And then Solus, your arrow goes off, so you can shoot it. $16 definitely hits for 9 piercing damage. Okay,
Would sneak attack go off if he's within 5 feet?
it would, because right there, he's right there. +3. Awesome. That is a good arrow shot. Cool. I forgot the rogues get that at level
Makes
1.
it for my
Alright.
spear missing somehow.
He went to get it, and he just kind of, as he's landing in front of you to bite you, just kind of moves off to the side, and it just whoosh, slides right by him. Like, you cut him, but not enough to do like any significant damage. Like, you see blood, but it's not like it's a scratch to him, basically. So he's gonna go ahead and try and attack you with his
It's not like
beak
he's bleeding.
and his claws. Yeah, he's not bleeding bad. It's just like a skinned knee, but from a dagger. So he rolled a 13 and a natural 20.
That
So
Ah.
he rolled
That
real bad
must-
on his natural 20. So you take a total of 4 damage from his natural 20 beak attack. So yeah, he rolled on his d6.
all
rolled-
right.
So
Is it
well,
fine
da-
for me
3
to
damage.
ask what your crit policy
I'm
is
not-
for this game?
Yeah, it's double dice plus modifier. Double any of your dice. So for example, if you're at level 10 and a rogue has like 15 sneak attack dice, I know that's exaggerating, you would double all of those.
Damn.
So it's double dice plus modifier, so double any dice you roll. Unless for barbarians, when you crit, you just get the additional 2, but those don't double.
What about for spells? If you roll a 20 on a spell attack, same thing?
Yeah, it's a crit.
So if you have, if
Okay.
you have
The only thing you can't
sharpshooter-
crit on is a save. Obviously, well, for them, you can't crit on that. That's all.
If you have sharpshooter and you crit, would you get a +20?
You would,
Damn.
if you did it, if you hit it. Yeah.
Jesus.
If you still rolled a nat 20 by taking that -5 and you rolled enough, then sure. Never seen it done, but I'm not opposed. It'd be a hell of a shot. Anyway, Silas,
Okay.
you were up. You just got a beak attacked by this
Yeah.
this griffin.
Is it damaged? Did anyone hit it? You know what? No.
Um,
Don't tell me.
that
Don't tell me.
one-
Don't tell me. No. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
I'll just do Sacred Flame on it and I'm scared of it. Why am I rolling so low? It's a dex save. 14.
That's a dex save of 14. Man, that is not a good roll for that. All right, let's see. I rolled an 8.
Ah. You take 1 radiant damage. Yay! Please get away from me now.
Okay. So
They're actually
this-
immune to radiant damage.
Oh, no.
It is not immune to radiant damage. So it's gonna go ahead and try and get you with its attack since you're right in front of it. It rolled a 9 and a 10.
They both missed. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you see it kind of puffing its wings. It looks like it's about to try and take off and fly out of frustration. And as this griffin beaks at you and claws at you, you hear from underneath of mountain the bleeding, in pain Elric go, get the flare gun from the cart. It'll scare him away. He doesn't die. He just passes out
I
in pain.
seem to have accidentally
Oh,
deleted
that
my
was a dying
token,
noise. I'm glad you specified that.
but I have a initiative 22 and I deleted it on accident.
Oh, your token's still
Ooh.
here.
No, in the turn order.
Oh, that's
I
right.
had
Okay.
I had replaced it with the one with the 12. I put the hit points and I accidentally deleted the old one, and then it took me out of
Gotcha.
initiative. Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
so we'll just take your turn now, and then we'll just
Yeah.
drop down to Morthos, because
Okay, so
so.
so there's the big one which is still up in the sky, and then there's the two ones here. One's attacking Morthos.
Mm-hmm.
Can I shoot at it point blank with the short bow?
Yeah.
If it's so up close, do I take disadvantage or no? I don't remember.
If it's a ranged attack and you're within melee range, yes. Or you can move out of melee range if you so choose. Or so you're only in melee range with the one in front of Morthos. You're not in melee range you're 10 feet away from the one in front of Silas.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of reach back into the wagon, pull out an arrow from the quiver, which is still mounted on my backpack, and then just notch it and shoot at the one further away then.
Okay. That definitely hits.
Okay, for 6 damage.
Okay.
And that's all I can do at this point, so.
Okay. Alright, and then Silas had his turn, Griffin's had his turn, Morthos. And you had just heard Elric say that there is a flare gun in the back of the wagon, and to shoot at them, it might scare them off. So you have that knowledge. The whole group heard this, heard him yell this.
I have a much better idea. I have rope. Can I try to lasso this griffin in front of me?
Yes, we will consider it to be a grapple. So it will just be an opposed athletics or acrobatics check, whichever one you want, and he'll just roll it as strike. So they rolled a 7 total. So just gotta
Oh,
beat a
cool.
7
Beat
and
a
you
Let's see
can
if
dude.
I.
lasso him. And you can
Come
lasso.
on.
Wow.
Okay.
A 2.
So you go
So good at this.
to lasso this this griffin. You make a pretty, like, in a hurry, you make a pretty quick lasso, and you throw it, but you catch him. Instead of you aiming for this griffin, trying to get it so the wings are coming right down at the back end of a flap, you get it just as the wings are expanding, and the rope is just not a big enough circle to land, so it just kind of like lands on his back and just falls off. So yeah. Any bonus action or anything on your turn?
Nice. I'm assuming that took my.
That took your action, yeah.
Let's see if I have a bonus action. I think I have. Uh, this doesn't say what type of action this requires.
What is it?
What is it?
I have the magical tinkering from being an artificer. It says I can touch something and I can give it an ability.
I feel like that'd be
Um,
something.
None of the abilities are actually good. But I just want to make my rope talk and say that you suck at the griffin. It's just going to repeat that every 5 seconds.
As an action, you can touch the object and end the property early. But we'll say, because I think that's funny and it's not doing any damage or really changing the game in any way right now, that you just yell, "You suck" at your rope, and you just hear it go, "You suck, you suck."
It's a constant
You suck.
vicious mockery.
All right, Solas.
Can I dive into the cart to
Yep.
grab the flare gun?
You absolutely can.
And can I attempt to fire it at a griffin?
Yeah. Which one do you want to shoot it at?
This one.
All right. You can hit it. It's got a +4 to attack, and then if you hit, it is 2d6 fire damage to the griffin.
That one's mine. Don't
just
shoot my griffin.
+4 to attack.
It's
Shoot-
+4
Shoot
to
the other
attack,
griffin.
and then
Okay,
2d6.
then can I shoot this one
yeah.
then?
Yeah, you can do it. So 1d20 plus
Yes,
4, and then
please
2d6
shoot the
if you
one
hit.
killing me.
18 definitely
22. And
hits.
2d6.
2d6. Yep.
Don't shoot my griffin.
I didn't.
7. He didn't. He shot the one above you. So you see,
Okay, good.
Solus dives into the cart and kind of leans back out, goes, and you just see this smoky spinning cylinder come towards this griffin. It hits it, and like a firework in front of you, Solus and Atticus. You just see purple fire rain from everywhere. Smoke appears, and this flare hits him in the chest and just starts burning this griffin, sort of singeing his feathers and his wings. And you hear this screech, in just obnoxiously loud, painful screech come. and then you see the adult griffin look down, and you hear it caw, and you see both the griffins turn their head and look up. And then there are 3 more flares for the flare gun. So, you know, there are 4 total. Up. Mountain.
So having seen Morthos try to lasso one, he gets like, huh, I might have an idea here. He will also try to lasso one.
Okay, same thing.
Yeah,
So
lassos.
acrobatics. He rolled a 13 total. Yeah. Okay. How do you want to lasso a griffin?
Basically, like, picks up the rope,
Yeah.
does, like, classic cowboy rope twirl, twirls it, and it just wraps right around, like, goes over its head and catches the body, and he just gives it a good tug down.
So you guys see Mountain, your Tabaxi compatriot, just whip up a quick lasso in the vein of Morthos, throw it around this griffin, and just hogtie him in a blink of an eye. So this griffin, since you hogtied him over his wings and his limbs all together, he's effectively considered grappled. And so that's going to, because of the way that he's tied, he is going to be limited to just his peck attack and no attack of opportunity because your neck can only reach so far. So he's basically grounded, grappled, and you've removed one of his attacks until he breaks it.
Would I be able
So
to do an animal handling as bonus action?
to do what?
Basically offer it some travel rations, like meat.
You're gonna. Oh my.
You can do that. It's going to be a really high DC of like 20 because you just hogtied it.
Dude.
All right. So you
Well, 24.
Yes!
so
You stole my idea. You suck.
so you just gave him some travel rations and he starts pecking at them like really aggressively out of your hand, and we'll say that because you rolled so well,
Yeah.
almost a nat 20, he is not going to befriend you, but he is too busy and distracted eating out of your hand to attack you this round or try to break out. So basically you've just forced him to miss a turn. So, and that was his turn next too. So Atticus, you're up. And he's basically like monk stunning strike until his next turn. So
How
Nice.
wounded?
anything that attacks him would be at advantage because he's both grappled, restrained, and distracted. And he's
I'm
looking
gonna
pretty
try to befriend it the best I can if I'm able to.
So there's one attacking Morthos still right up next to him, and then there's one that's tied to the ground. Are those
So
both
the
the
one
babies?
Yeah, these are both babies. The one that's by Morthos, this one right here, this is the one that's hogtied to the ground and eating out of Mountain's hand,
Oh,
and
that's
this one right
Morthos.
here, yeah. This is the one by Morthos is the one that you're within melee of, and the other one is the one that you're in range from, and he's still fighting. He's the one that got shot with a flare.
Okay. So I'm gonna reach back again, draw another arrow from my quiver, draw it back, and take a shot at the one that's got hit with the flare.
Okay. $16 hits for 9 damage. This dude is looking right hurt. Not quite death's door, but right hurt.
Can I also look up into the sky to see if I can see the parent?
Yes. You look up and you see that the parent is nowhere to be seen, and the baby griffin seems to be flying up this way on the map, so like more north from where you guys are, and just seems to be flying. You don't see the parent, but you see the other baby griffin kind of flying away. So you have the assumption right now that that parent is either hiding somewhere, gonna sneak attack, or it's just leaving its babies for dead, thinking that the
Unlikely.
situation is too dire. All right. So
Okay. Wisdom save and please fail. And die.
that's you rolled a d12 there, right? Yeah, nice. All right.
Yep.
So wisdom save is he rolled a
Are you-
19.
Okay.
You see these bells appear and start ringing, and the young griffin just shakes their head like, no, not today. Um, it's going to fly past you over to Atticus and try and attack Atticus for 1, and
Ah,
then fly
no.
past you. Then fly past you and try and claw at Mountain. So you're gonna get an attack of opportunity after it attacks you the first time because it has to fly past you.
Okay, I'll
So
go
the first
15.
attack is a
AC
13.
AC is
Okay, so it
15,
misses.
so I would actually probably fall backwards, and because I have a longbow with no arrow attached to it, I'm not going to take the
Okay.
opportunity attack as much as I think we should.
Okay.
But he doesn't have a weapon drawn, so he's not
Yeah,
going to try to
so-
punch it. That doesn't make any sense.
Yep. So you can fall and move out the way if you want. So you're effectively at this point, you'd still be 10 feet away from falling back out the way as it goes to hit you, and it's coming to attack Mountain with its claws. Jesus, 7 total. To miss. Morthos, you now have a
Real quick,
hog-tied
Mountain's
griffin.
AC. So just so you know, real quick, Mountain's AC is 20.
Jesus. So you have Morthos. You have a hog-tied griffin eating some trail rations that Mountain put in his face, and you have this other griffin who just flew up and started attacking at Mountain. What do you do?
Alright, since my lasso didn't work, would it take a full round to tie my rope securely to my spear?
No, we'll say that you can do it as a bonus action and movement. If you want to try it that way.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna tie the rope to my spear, and I'm gonna chunk it at the not hog-tied griffin.
Okay, go ahead.
And then if it hits, I'm gonna hang on for dear life.
You say the
Okay.
not hog-tied one?
Yeah, so this one right here. Yeah, that'll hit.
18
Okay, yeah,
for
18.
4 damage.
Okay. He is looking pretty hurt.
God damn.
And that's your turn. So last.
Can how steady is the rope that's in the now connected Griffin in the air?
This guy right here.
Yeah.
I mean the spear is stuck into his side and the rope's there. You could pull on it and see if it rips out. That's up to you. I mean, it's in there enough that you can hold the rope and it would keep it from flying unless it actively tried to break it, or you yanked it out. He's not grappled, but he has the spear stuck in him pretty good.
Could I attempt to sneak up to it, jump on its back, and put the flare gun to its head?
Whoa.
Oh, whoa,
Yes.
wait, which one are you doing that to?
The one that's not hogtied.
Okay.
So we'll say that you can grab the rope and basically you run, grab the rope, and like a pendulum, you're gonna swing and land on top of his back. So do an acrobatics check for me.
Acrobatics.
So you grab the rope and you run and you go to swing, but you just don't have enough thrust out of your legs and you go up about 5 feet in the air and then you're like, oh no, the arc is enough, and you plummet and you land on your back, falling prone, but you can still attack or stand up with your movement, whatever you want to do. You don't take any damage, you just fall.
Can I just, I guess, try to throw a dagger at it from the ground?
You can do that, yeah, or you can shoot it with a flare gun again, whatever you want. So.
Flare gun, I guess.
Okay, so it's the +4 to attack and then 2d6 if it hits. That'll hit. For 9 damage. He had exactly a 9 HP. How do you want to kill him?
Hits his head and explodes.
Okay, so as you guys see Solas run, grab this rope, try and swing on top of this griffin, he falls on his back and pulls this flare gun back out like a quick draw from the cowboy days gone by, launches a flare out of it, hits this Griffin in the side of the face, just igniting his skull with flare fire, which very quickly encapsulates his whole body, effectively flash roasting this Griffin, who is now a charred, flared body of a baby Griffin on the floor or on the ground right beside you. All right, Mountain, you are still, or you were still feeding rations to this young Griffin, who is hogtied
And
still.
animal handling. Jeez.
You're still feeding him. It doesn't seem like it's getting any friendlier to you, but it's also not getting more aggressive to you. All right, it's still hogtied and it's still eating, so it's still distracted. Atticus, what do you want to do?
Atticus is going to pull his sword from its sheath and kind of leap out the front of the wagon. And seeing that there's the tied Griffin, he kind of looks over to see if, like, am I supposed to kill this thing? But seeing as how Mountain seems to have it under control, and I imagine you'd kind of ward me off a little bit.
Yeah, help our friend here. He gestures to the driver, who's unconscious.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of nod and kind of back up and kneel down next to, what was his name? Elric. And I want to examine his wounds to see if there's maybe something I can do, because I do have some proficiency with medicine.
Okay, go ahead and roll a medicine check at advantage since you're proficient. 14. Okay. So you look at these wounds and you see that they're pretty deep. They don't look like they have shredded any muscles or tendon, but they're really just deep gashes, and they're bleeding. The left one seems to be bleeding more than the right one because that's the one that he dug in after he got hit with a club and then ripped out. So the right one's the bleeding has stopped because it's so cold, but the left one is still actively bleeding and it's bleeding a lot. It does look like it needs medical attention fairly quickly. The other one needs it too, but the left one's definitely more life-threatening than the right one.
Yeah, I would like to basically start packing the wound with some materials, whether it's from his own cloak or something, and just try to stabilize him.
Okay, so you actually reach up onto the driver's bench, and you slice off a big hunk of hide that's in there, like the furs and the hides, and you start packing it into his wound and basically creating an impromptu dressing and putting pressure on this wound to stop the bleeding.
He's gonna need magical attention. This is gonna fester.
Magical,
Silas.
you say? Can I use my healing light on him?
Yes, you can.
A 5 HP.
As soon
Okay.
as you start to do that, I'm gonna back way way up and just let you take over.
Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna start tending to this guy.
So you guys see Silas start to glow. There starts to be this light that is permeating from their body. And you see them kind of turn and focus it into their hands and put their hands over top of this wound. And she heals the wound that is on his left arm, his left collarbone area. You see it start to like the furs that you had just put in there to pack this wound just get spat out, like someone throwing something up, and you see the wound, the blood starts to dry up a little bit, and you see it start to seal itself shut like it's being magically sewn back together.
And
you
knitting
see a
itself back
scar.
together.
Yep, and knitting itself back together, and you see a scar instantly appear there on his left side. So that wound is very healed. So
Good boy.
You have to get that tattooed, the Griffin mark, just for your memory. And I'm gonna pat him on the shoulder, the now healed shoulder.
he's like, ow, ow, ow. It hurts a lot. It's real sore. He still hurts. Morthos. So you see around you your driver being healed, this hogtied griffin eating out of Mountain's hands, and everyone's kind of on guard for the minute.
I'm just gonna recover my spear and
Okay.
kind of just sit here. Why is
Okay.
my Matt's health reduced? What happened to me when I looked away? Oh, I clicked the wrong character. That's why my health is at 4 out of 9. I was very concerned.
I was gonna say I didn't do
Like,
anything.
what the hell happened when I walked away?
You got necrotic damage from an invisible
I-
ghost.
Oh yeah.
Right. I would like to hold my action to if anything comes up that I think is dangerous. I'm a chunk of rope spear at it.
Okay. All right. Solus, go ahead and roll me a E100.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Is this
I
the
always do
mom?
bad at this.
No, not 100 means we tame. Easy.
So, off in the distance, you see two things. You see towards Dugan's Hole. So you're about halfway to Goodmead. You see off towards Dugan's Hole, a little further. You see the sky starting to gray, and you see the clouds starting to swirl, and you hear this screeching cawing of this griffin that you had previously seen fly out of that storm with a super fast light speed. And it flies in your direction and just flies right on past you. Doesn't even come down and check on its young. It's cawing and flying, and you see the baby griffin that was trying to keep up with it is about it's twice as far away, so it has half the flying speed. And you see out of this cloud, this lightning bolt strikes this baby griffin, dropping it to the ground. It's the one in the sky is 120 feet up in the air, so you can try and throw your thing at it. It would be at disadvantage to try and hit it. And so you see this baby griffin get struck by a bolt of lightning and just fall to the ground about a half a mile in front of you, going towards or behind you towards Dugan's Hold, and nothing else comes out of this cloud. You don't know what this lightning bolt came from, and you don't hear anything else. You just see what looks like a storm brewing. And you still have
I've
your
got a
turn.
bad feeling about that.
Does a 12
Um,
hit that griffin?
It does not. It just misses it. You go to throw it up, and the griffin's not even looking. It like skims the wing, and so you see that it connected a little bit, but not enough to get stuck in the wing to actually attach to it. And it flies on. The griffin, that one had an AC of 13, so you
Feather
I,
shade.
just missed it.
Son
Send
of
a
a
shot
bitch.
2 at it.
Yeah, you can if you can throw something 120 feet.
Can a short bow go that far?
I think it's 30-60 for a short bow.
No, it's farther
think.
than that.
Is it?
Oh, my spear can't go that far. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
My
320.
spear can only go to 60 feet.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, that
Well,
didn't do
then
anything.
you throw it, and you definitely don't hit with it. So, but yeah, that was what you saw at the beginning of your turn, but you still have your whole turn. So, oh, there you go, 83-20 for a short bow. Yeah,
So then I can take a shot at it.
you can take a shot at the adult griffin if you want. Yeah,
Can I use a quick action or something to quickly tie a rope to my arrow when I shoot it, or just I have to take a shot? now?
absolutely. You can tie a rope to it real fast, and we'll see what happens. Go for it. We'll say it's your bonus action and your movement to quickly like whip the rope and tie it around your arrow, and
Actually,
then you'll
wait.
shoot it.
Could I
It will
cancel?
be
I
at
just realized it's only 50 feet of rope.
That's rough, man.
So you just tie the rope to the arrow, launches, then just like watch it as it just sails, and realize, wait, it's only 50 feet. Rope is gone.
Yeah. Your rope that you had tied to it is, you can find it. It'll take a minute to find it, but it's no longer attached to your hand if you threw that javelin. So, but yeah, you can still shoot it with a short bow if you want. It'll just be a disadvantage because it's past its normal range of 80.
Wait, short bow says 83-20.
Yeah, so anything past 80 is disadvantage until 320, and as soon as you go past 320, it's automatic miss.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, anything with those, it's a regular attack at the first number, disadvantage up to the second number, and then automatic miss.
Okay, my apology for that.
No, you're good.
But yeah, then no rope, just shooting it, I guess.
Okay, go for it. A disadvantage is a 9. So you shoot this arrow, and the griffin trying to maintain balance in the air just kind of sways, and the arrow just goes whink and just sings right past its undercarriage. And it's flying real fast this direction. So, and its whole turn, it can fly 160 feet because of its movement and its action. It flies pretty fast.
I'll just scream coward then. As
It doesn't even acknowledge you. I don't think it can hear you that high, but it's worth a shout. Mountain, are you still trying to feed this griffin, or what are you doing?
I am
with this
still
griffin?
trying to gain its trust, kind of.
Okay, roll another. Here's what we'll do. Since this is effectively going to be, once this Griffin has a turn, this will be the end of the combat initiative. I'll let you roll at advantage. If you roll a natural 20, your group has a young Griffin companion. If you roll a natural 20 on advantage. Got real close.
No.
So, this Griffin stops eating from your hands and looks up at you with some friendly eyes. And kind of looks at you and like chirps to try and have you untie it.
Are we still in combat or no?
Once Mountain finishes his turn and Griffin does, then we'll come out of a
gotcha.
combat order. Yeah. What do you want to do? It chirps at you when you try to get it to try and untie it.
He will try to pet it.
Okay. You can use your action to make an animal handling check and see what happens.
And he loses his arm.
Animal handling.
20. Okay, so it lets you pet it. So for its turn, it's gonna try and break out of these ropes. It rolled an 18 total. Go ahead and just roll a straight athletics check to see what the DC for the rope is. 6.
Oh,
So you see while it's like letting you pet it and it's nuzzling, it kind of takes its claws and slices the ropes that are holding it, and it sees this storm brewing behind you, and all of a sudden it kicks up some snow to snowblind you and flies away and tries to fly away. So anybody who's right there, meaning Morthos and Mountain, can take attacks of opportunity, but because it's blasted snow in your face, Mountain, that would be at disadvantage for you as
Okay.
it's trying to get
he's
away.
going to try to catch it.
Oh, so you can do an
I'm also going to try to
athletics.
catch it.
Okay, so your athletics is at disadvantage, which is a 20. Jesus. All right, go ahead
What
and roll
is
an athletics check then.
this? What is this?
I don't think you've rolled less than like an 18 for any of these
rolled a
checks.
Okay. So it tries to fly away, and you reach out and you just grab it by one of its wings. And as you reach down and grab through the snow, you grab so hard that you snap its wing. And you feel its wing break in your paw. Go ahead and roll me.
Oh no.
Roll me a d10, and that's how much damage it's gonna take
Oh man.
when you snap its wing.
Oh no.
Jeez.
You were rolling so
no.
high tonight.
He doesn't know his own strength apparently.
And it just starts wailing and crying and calling out. So I'll leave this up here, but we're out of initiative order. Actually, I'll take it away. We're out of initiative order. You have this young Griffin basically screaming and crying with a broken wing inside of Mountain's hand. What do you as a group want to do? You have Elric, who is woken back up, and he looks over and sees the storm. He's like, "We need to go now!" And he clambers back up into the cart and gives everyone like a yearning look, like, "Are you coming or are you staying?"
Mountain will scoop up the baby Griffin and load it into the back. And as
How
somebody,
big?
please help the wing. That's wing.
I'm gonna cast
Wait, are you
Healing
taking-
Light on it.
Are you taking the Griffin with us?
4. Okay.
It's on its own.
Heal.
We should mercy kill it. We can't
As
take
you-
a Griffin.
I can just heal it, man.
As you guys are talking, as you're talking about mercy killing this thing, you cast, you see your female human friend cast her magical healing spell again, and you, being the caster of the spell, you hear the bones go as they like fashion themselves back into position for a wing, and you see while the wing still looks damaged, it looks like it could use it for flight, and it went from this like deformed, broken, almost husk of a wing for how much you had crunched on it to like a usable wing again. And as you guys are arguing, it flaps its wings weakly and tries to fly out the back and fly away.
I tried to handle it. 19.
Okay, can I
Alright.
stop Mountain to just let it go?
Can I jump on its back?
It rolled a 20 total.
Jeez.
So it starts flying. You can try and jump on his back if you want. You gotta beat a 20.
Atticus is just watching from the front.
Yeah. I gotta be a 20.
Mm-hmm. So it like limply like just slides through
That's not
and
a
just like
20.
flies away, and you see this griffin fly towards Dugan's hole and the storm, and you
Wait,
don't know where it went.
flying
You see it.
towards it.
It's flying towards Dugan's hole. So it starts flying up and then towards the town.
And then to recap, the mother one was flying away from Dugan's Hole, right? Towards East
Yep.
Haven?
Yep, towards Goodmead and East Haven, and then the other baby that you didn't kill got struck by lightning and went down towards Dugan's Hole. So that brings us out of combat and brings you guys. So as you guys are doing this and you heal the Griffin, what are Morthos and Solas doing while the healing and the discussing of Mercy killing this Griffin's happening?
I guess I'm
Um,
jumping in the cart.
Okay.
I really don't know. I guess I'll jump in the cart as well.
Okay. So as you guys jump in the cart and you are healing and talking about this griffin, you see Elric go hiya hiya and like snap his ropes on the pack mule, and the pack mule, surprise, takes off sprinting, and he takes off with the cart, going real fast. You can chase him down if you want.
I would
Wait,
like to.
he didn't take us with him?
You guys weren't in it, and he said let's go and just took off.
Oh
I
no!
Wasn't
I said we put the griffin in the cart and climbed in.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, then
So,
I
yeah.
guess you guys are all in there, yeah.
Oh,
And he takes off, but
Can
go ahead. So,
Atticus wasn't. Can I try to just jump on either to the back
yeah,
or
go
to the
ahead
side?
and go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw and see if you can just jump on the side as it goes by.
Jeez.
So as it
Okay.
takes off, you see
never
Atticus
mind.
go whoops and just like take off and just like jump and grab onto the flapping leather curtain of the back of the cart. From like, so if you're looking at it, so looking at the cart from front to back, Atticus, you were on the side of the cart and you jumped on, and you basically like the movement of the cart and you jumping and grabbing onto this kind of swung you around and poof, rolled you right into the back of the cart, and then you just end up doing like a front somersault and end up sitting in a very casual, relaxing, like "What's up, guys?" kind of position. You just like whoop, yoinked your
Like,
way
yes,
right
I was
into
here the entire time.
All right.
which way is Elric going?
He is going towards Goodmead.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going towards Goodmead. So you make the rest of the hour and a half trip left that you had there without incident. And he gets there and he just looks at you guys and goes, I'm not taking you back. I'm leaving now. And he just turns around and takes off, going immediately back to Dugan's Hole.
Thank you, Elric.
Wait, you should refund us half.
You just see him like throw a few coins off over his shoulder and goes, whatever, and 3 gold is laying in the ground.
Oh,
Can I yell, you forgot your flare gun?
He doesn't care about his flare gun. He's
you
gone.
gotta-
Okay.
Silas will pick back the gold.
Okay.
Can we look
So-
around and what does a good mead look like for us from where we're at?
So you don't quite get all the way into Goodmead. He drops you off about 400 meters outside of the gates of Goodmead because he can turn around here really quickly and not have to deal
Mhm.
with any of the in-town stuff. So you can see off in the distance the beginnings of. Let me find the map so I can see. Actually, I'll just move you to what you can see from a distance. Oh crap! It's not gonna. It's not this town, so ignore this one. This is East Haven. This is Goodmead. So this is what you would start to see off in the distance. You would see basically this. Oh wait, it's probably not showing. It's
I
probably all
see
black.
Darkness.
It's all black.
yes.
Let me see if I can just reveal it. Maybe it'll let me. Oh crap! Let me just do this. Hold on. It has dynamic lighting on it, and it turns it all off. So, bam. There you go. Can you see Goodmead now?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. I don't know why it hides them. I don't need them to be hidden for the cities. Anyway, so you guys are basically over here, to Dugan's Hole, and you can start to see these trees that are up here and the beginnings of some houses, but they're just all one-story houses. So you got the Red Waters to your south, the beginnings of this town, and these woods. Go ahead and whoever is proficient make an investigation check, and then anyone who's proficient make a survival check. If any of you
I
are
can handle
proficient.
survival.
All right, all right. And then
No
summon.
I can do
proficient
neither.
investigation.
Yeah, do whichever one you want. Whichever you are more comfortable with doing.
Everyone's super rolling high today. It feels like
Mm-hmm.
not
Okay.
I'm
completely.
not. I think I've rolled one number over 10.
All right. So as you guys were dropped off outside here, and you, right, yeah. So you guys see this cottage, which is not quite in town. That's a little outside of it. And as you approach, you start to see with your. Do you have your lantern out as you're approaching this town, or do you still have it put away?
I will pull out the lantern.
Okay. So as you
Pull out, not put out.
Okay. As you pull out this lantern and you start approaching this cottage, you see um, a woman who just starts waving her arms and yelling at you, yelling basically into the wind. Um, and you hear kind of in the distance, because she's a solid 60 feet ahead of you. So, I mean, her voice isn't super loud, but you can hear it. She's like, "Hey, hey, it's cursed. Don't come this way. It's cursed. They keep opening my windows and making me cold and knocking over my plates and my cups and my cutlery is gone. It's cursed around here." And she's just running in circles like a crazy person. Um, so
Well, that sounds like an interesting place.
as you guys get closer to her cottage, you see from this lantern that there's tiny little footprints. Um, three tiny individual sets of footprints. Some of them have a thin furrow in the snow alongside of them, as if something was being dragged behind whatever these things were. And as you get closer towards her house, you see there are a few conifer trees off to one side. You hear some chittering. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, whoever wants to, or all of you.
Sure.
Okay.
Perception.
All right. Jesus.
I got this. Let's do my nuts number.
So,
It's technically over 10.
it is. So everybody over 13. So everybody except Morthos, you hear chittering, and you see some movement, and as you look behind these trees, you see three little chwingas playing atop the snow in a clearing. You see a dinner plate with branches and pine cones arrayed on its place in between the three of them. One little chwinga is sitting at the edge of the plate while two others are moving a fork and knife as if to cut and eat the quote food. Um, so you see that as you guys approach this, it looks like they're kind of playing house. Like they're kind of pretending like they're eating these pine cones and pine needles from this plate and cutlery they stole from this lady. Um, you see that all three of them look up at you with interest. And the one not holding a piece of cutlery starts moving its hands, as if mimicking eating while looking up at you guys and making welcoming gestures. What do you do?
Can I wave at it?
You can wave at it, and it waves at you and just kind of waves at for you to come over and eat with it.
Yeah, Silas will walk over to them, and if they don't run away, she'll sit down and just like, "Hey, how you guys doing? You having a good dinner over here?"
They
In
look at you
common.
in common.
Yes.
They look at you, and they and the one who you're talking to lifts up his hands, and you just see that it creates like a tiny, what's supposed to be a crown, but it's really the size of a bracelet because you're so much bigger than it, and like offers it to you.
It's for me? Thank you. Take it and I get. I'll put it up. Yeah, it's a bracelet. You said.
It's supposed to
Yeah,
be a
I'll come
crown,
down.
but they're tiny. They're little tiny elementals, so it's the biggest it can make, and it's about the size of a bracelet
Yeah.
for you.
Mountain would
Say-
head over as
For
well.
Sure.
Anybody who goes over to talk to these things, it will make a bracelet for all of you. Basically, Druid crafts a little flowery bracelet for you.
I'll go over
Um,
too.
Okay.
Atticus
So as you
will
guys,
also.
do you just sit there, or do you join in with what it's doing?
What is the lady
Uh,
doing?
She doesn't know they're there for some reason. She's just running around screaming and not paying attention, trying to find her cutlery, continuously shutting windows. And you see every time she shuts a window, the two who are holding the fork and knife kind of disappear and reappear and reopen her windows and disappear and come back over. So they keep like opening her windows.
Are we within 10 feet of her?
You're like 40 feet away.
Could I move within 10 feet?
Sure.
Can I cast a prestidigitation?
Yeah, go for it.
Can I just continually make like cold wind go right past her ear?
You can. And she gets continuously more and more upset. She keeps trying to cover her ear, and then when she thinks it's done, she like pulls it down and again, and it just keeps happening. And she eventually, you see her run inside, come out, and she has on like 4 coats and took like effectively a blanket and wrapped her head in it, and then keeps closing windows to try and protect her ears.
Can I split a day's worth of rations with the elementals? And we could
Sure.
start eating.
Yeah, so you give this Chewinga some rations, and it looks at you and kind of tilts
Wait.
its head,
Is there
and
only
then
one?
there's 3.
Yeah, it's split
But
between all of them.
so they all kind of tilt their heads at you, and they nibble a little bit, but they don't eat much of it. They kind of just push it off to the side. They don't really enjoy the rations that you guys have. So you do see, as you spend some time hanging out and playing with these Chewingas, that the one that wasn't holding anything is kind of, he's interested, and and they seem to be inspecting you a little bit more. And you see that they climb up into we'll roll a, can I roll a d5? Is that a thing?
I
So
think you
if I can
can.
roll a d5, we'll go left to right and roll 20, and this is the person who it climbs up and sits on their shoulder. 4. So it climbs up on Solus's shoulder and just sits there. And he just sits on Solus's shoulder and just looks you right in the face and just kind of like starts petting your face.
That's so cute.
And it seems as you guys walk around Solas with an A. Yeah. So I should really change how I
Yeah.
I'll have to say Silas and Solas.
Silas and Solas.
That's how I'm gonna have to enunciate them very
Yeah,
particularly.
you gotta be very articulate.
Solas and Silas. So it sits on Solas's shoulder, kind of strokes your face a little bit. And then wherever you guys walk around for the next few minutes, as you're kind of walking around this little house party that it's set up, it just sits on your shoulder and just stays with you. It seems like it's willing to accompany you wherever you wish to go.
Can I tell them, like, we gotta bring it back to this nice girl back in the other village, and she's gonna talk to you a bit. Is that okay with you?
And it kind of looks at you, not understanding a word that you said,
I'm gonna
and just,
pretend it did.
and then it just goes, kind of chitters a little bit and just nods its head. And then it kind of snuggles up inside of your cloak.
Do I get one too? Yay.
They can all go ahead. Whoever wants one, go ahead and roll persuasion to see if they come. There's 2 more. So if 2 more people want them, okay.
Sure, why not? Jeez, nat 20.
What is this? What is this?
That's a nat 20.
That is a nat 20 on a -1. Jesus. All right, so one climbs immediately into your fur and sits with you because your fur looks warmest. Okay. So, all right. So, Atticus goes to talk to the woman. Yeah. So, both Silas and Mountain, you have these little elementals climbing on top of you, and Morthos, they notice that you look kind of sad that they're not with you. So what they do is they all jump up and run over to you real fast, and they druid craft you like a giant lei, but like 4 of them. So you now have 4 druid craft leis and a bracelet, and they run and go back to their normal folks. So you have 4 giant leis
Yay.
and a flower bracelet on your person because they did not want you to feel bad. Atticus, yes, you go talk to the woman.
She inside the house or outside?
She at this point is inside the house.
So I would like to go up to the door and just knock pretty loudly.
Okay. She opens the door, like, what? What do you want?
Pardon me, my lady. We are. And he looks back over at the rest of the group. We found some miscreants at your house and we're removing them for you.
Good, take him, get him out of here. I want to keep my windows closed. And she goes and closes another window and tries to lock it. As the tricksters just reopen it again.
I'm gonna lean in through the doorway and kind of call after her. Have you seen any wolves near your town, or heard anything about wolves?
No, I think that's happening down at the other town, a few hours away from here, at the hole. They're probably in the hole. That's right. Yeah, they're in the hole.
The hole. Do you know what's going on with them? What have you heard?
Nothing. I've been worried about this wind that's coming through my windows. That's all I heard. Fire keeps going out. Hate it.
Yeah, well, we'll try to figure that out too. And he's just gonna step out back to the others, and if you can get them away from the house, maybe we can find a way to take shelter here. The storm's coming.
Okay. So, you can actually take shelter in the town. There is a small shed-like thing kind of on the precipice of the town where it's not quite a stable because there's no animals in it, but it's more of just like a covered awning where you could pitch a tent inside of or pitch your tents inside of, and it would basically be a weather break, so you wouldn't get snow. It's basically like a 3-sided thing where there's a roof and 2 walls to
Yeah,
it, and you
a
guys could
lean-to.
be inside of that. Yeah, it's a lean-to, so you guys could put your tents there, and you'd be effectively 3/4 covered from the weather, and then you could block the one side with your tents if you wanted to. So,
Well, so long
May
as
not
it's
be a bad
free.
idea.
okay. So, as you guys spend the night there, the next morning awakes, and you make your way back to your original town. Let me put you on the map where that is. Do 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 do. Dugan's Hole. I'll actually just show you Dugan's Hole. So you guys take your way. You spend the brighter hours that you have walking to Dugan's Hole. You don't. The storm seemed to have passed the night over. It didn't actually stop and hit where you is. It kind of seemed like it turned and went more north, so it missed you completely. But it was very cold. You guys spent the night there. You made your way back to Dugan's Hole, back to where you found the lady who wanted to. She wanted you to go and pick up all those elementals, and you approach her, and she sees you. And what do you do when you see her?
We brought your lantern back, along with the chinguas.
Okay. She's like, oh, great, thanks. Let me have them. Thank you for this lantern. Let me have them. I need them. I need the Twingas. And she kind of like puts out her arms like she wants to hug them, and they all seem to run off of you guys and approach and jump on her. The one who was not, the one who didn't have the fork and the knife, like the first Twinga that you guys encountered, he turns back to the person who had him. Who had the first one?
Solus.
Solas had him. Okay, so go ahead and roll a d7 for me.
A D7.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Weird numbers.
How do you do that exactly?
Just
One
here.
slash roll 1d7.
Yep, and it will just roll a d7. Just so then, all right, a 1, which is not actually bad. So, this Chwinga runs over to her, kind of looks all excited, then turns around, sees you, and you see that he kind of gets this like sad mantra about him, and runs back up to you, climbs up your leg, and just hugs your face. And as it hugs your face, you feel this magical energy come over you, and it hits you with this charm. And I posted it for here's what it is. So you get the charm of biting cold. So you get 3 charges of this charm. And it's good for 3 uses. So that is the charm. And so then the Chwinga runs back over to Danica, and she goes, "Okay, well, I did say I was going to pay you, so let me go inside and get the money. Hold on 1 second for me, please." And she disappears for a couple of minutes. Chinga's on her shoulder, and she comes back out with a bag of gold. It says, "There's 25 gold in here. You are welcome to count it if you like, but it's very cold. You guys are welcome to stay in my house if you want. But otherwise, I'm gonna go and begin my research. So do you want to stay here or do you want to camp again? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?"
I guess our daylight's already almost out because we traveled back.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us anything about the wolves?
Yes. She's like, "I did a little bit of research while you were gone about these wolves, because like I said, I don't get in town and they kind of expelled me a little while ago. Um, but the information that I have found out is that the town is being beset by winter wolves. That I've been told they stalk the outskirts of town. We don't know how many, but they seem to apparently be as big as horses. Um, and
Hmm.
apparently they know words. They got a mighty vocabulary," said some guy that I talked to who didn't seem very smart. He
Was he a
apparently didn't.
dwarf?
Yeah, he didn't know that 9 was less than 12. I don't know. I don't know what that was about. Um, yeah.
He was
And
Elric, wasn't
then
he?
probably I didn't catch his name. His wife. There's some lady hitting him on the head, so I assume it was his wife or girlfriend or daughter. Some I don't know. They seemed angry. Um, Somebody also said that they they thought they kidnapped a couple people, but they couldn't prove it. Um, and then they said that they want all the money and all the gold of the town, and that no one's allowed to leave the town. So apparently, you guys caught them at a good time because you got out and got back. Um,
Cool.
so yeah. But anyway, um, I would encourage you to go and meet the speaker. Their name is Edgra Dermot. I'll copy and put it in here for you. That's like the mayor of the town, the speaker. So I would go and talk to them tomorrow. They would they would be the ones who can help tell you what's going on. So, but yeah, if you want to stay at my house, you can do that. But I'm gonna make dinner and then do a little bit of research and go to bed. So, do you guys want to stay at her place? It'll be a tight fit, but you can all fit.
Yeah, at the mention of dinner,
Yeah.
Atticus is gonna kind of like have a half smile and turn to the others and say, "We can wait till tomorrow to speak with them, I think."
Yeah. Could
Okay.
I help you with dinner?
Um, yes, please. Could you go and get me some more firewood and just collect some snow so I can melt that down into water? That'd be great. Thanks.
Where did she
Yeah.
say Edgar Dermot was at?
They are the speaker of the town, and so if you look on the town map, it's like this big main building right here at the beginning of the dock. So,
Okay.
yep. And she would have pointed that out, and she would have basically said it's a big old house, kind of at the beginning of the dock. Um, yeah. So you guys go ahead and you get firewood and snow for her to collect down, to melt down, and then to boil, to make a pretty hearty stew for you guys. And so she feeds you guys dinner, and you are welcome to stay there for the evening. And we will say that you guys get the benefits of a long rest, level
Yeah.
up to level 2, and
Yay!
we will call our session here for this evening. So you guys can either, as far as leveling up HP goes, you can either take the average, or you can roll for it. And if you roll for it, if you roll a 1, you can re-roll the 1.
I'm gonna roll because
Yeah,
that's how we roll.
for sure.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you guys, the option's there. So there you go. You got, a
Got
5.
average, baby.
Yep. Plus
And-
your Constitution modifier. So
Oh
whatever
shoot,
that is.
yeah. Forgot about that. Also,
So that is
because
actually.
I'm gonna cook a little,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna
So this
I
will
gotta-
this will take effect.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ, 14. That's a lot of HP. Yeah.
So he
you're
is
not
now
gonna
up to
have-
29.
at level
Mhm.
2.
Yes, at level
Mountain.
2.
That's a lot
What
of
is this,
HP.
man?
He is a tank.
Uh huh.
He is the
yeah.
tankiest boy.
At level 2. Yeah. So this is a good time to talk about the feat that
Yeah.
one of your teammates has. This is a new feat that I know is going to be in Tasha's because they've confirmed it. I like it and I'm probably going to use it personally. We talked about it and he's going to use it at full effect of how it's written. So go ahead and show them what this does because it's really, really cool.
So, because I'm cooking stuff in a long rest, I can make a couple goodies equal to my
Uh-huh.
proficiency bonus, and that lasts for 8 hours. And whoever I give them to can decide to eat it to give them temporary hit points equal to my proficiency bonus, which is not a lot.
Sweet.
It's only 2, but I'm gonna give it to Atticus and Solus because Mountain does not need it.
And you
You guys,
and
you
you can
guys
eat
can-
these as a bonus action.
as a bonus, and you will get 2 temporary hit points.
Or I will treat them as a
Nice.
good for the purposes of Goodberry. If somebody is unconscious, you can shove one down their throat,
Oh,
and it
that's
will
gonna
magically
choke up.
it will magically give them the amount of hit points that it is worth. They might wake up choking, but they will not be dead.
Unless they choke to death.
Huh?
Unless they choke to death, then they'll be dead.
That's
Then
one,
they'll
two,
be dead.
3. Did
So-
everybody roll their HP, or is everyone take an average? So we got 3 rolls. Silas, Atticus, and
I'm
Mountain.
gonna roll mine. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm rolling.
Oh, okay.
So Silence,
I-
what
I rolled an 8.
is
You
it?
said
A
we can't level up
pastry
right
or
now,
a
right?
cake?
What's that? You're level 2.
So, you said we can level up, correct?
Oh yeah, you can level up now.
I
Yeah.
get Eldritch Invocations.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
So
And you said this is the end of the session,
I
or
can
are we
argue
gonna keep
this
going?
is the end of the session for today. Yes. Jesus.
Yeah.
What
Well,
is this?
But yeah, this is the end of the session for today. So ideally, I want to do every 2 weeks at about the same time. That would put it at 9 o'clock for me Eastern or 6 PST for everyone. But the next 2 Saturdays from now is Halloween. Does everybody want to play on Halloween night, or are there plans, or do we want to try and reschedule it for a different day that week?
Just
Um,
about off.
'Cause I don't want to push it a month, because that seems really far out.
I'm for sure. I'm down for Halloween. I'm not.
I do
For-
Halloween.
For me,
I think
for-
maybe.
I'm
maybe.
pretty
I'm up for
sure
it.
for Halloween evening. I think I'm free.
Okay, well let's do this. Tentatively right now, we will do Halloween, 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST for me, and whoever else is Eastern. And if anything comes up, we can obviously figure it out. But as a result,
That day is actually the Scooby Doo game.
oh, what time's that at?
That's at 5. No, I'm sorry, that's at 1:30 to 5. So yeah, that's good. Should still be able to work then.
Yeah, there you go. And if we have to push it a little bit, that's fine. I don't work the next day, and most people are
Yeah.
okay to play a little bit later on Saturdays,
Mhm.
as far as I'm aware. So,
Yeah.
you guys got
Do we have any
25 gold
casters
for
at the
finishing.
party?
What's that?
Do we have any casters in the party?
Yeah, the warlock
And an artificer.
and an artificer. Yeah.
I
That
can make
don't
reckless
count.
attacks.
Wait, why do you count?
Does the because I don't have that many spells. Does
The
the
warlock
does the
doesn't have
warlock want a
spells.
dart shard amulet?
I sure. I don't know what that is.
It's a spellcasting focus for warlocks, I believe.
How do you have that? What is that?
It is. I have replicate magic item at level 2.
You have that
so
as an item that you can replicate right now?
Yeah, that is in fact an item that he can replicate.
Okay.
All right. That's fine.
Sure.
I'm over here trying to figure out what I want my infusions to be in. Like, it's realistically, I'm doing the defense one and probably a bunch of replicate magic items.
But remember, with the infusions, you get half as many available to you as you have to use, and if you prepare a different one,
Yeah.
your oldest one disappears. So
I don't know what.
But
to
with
do
the
from
Dark Shard
here.
amulet, it's the spellcasting. It's the
so
spellcasting focus for warlock spells,
so
and you can
you
try to
can
cast a
only
cantrip you don't know. It has to be
well
on the
you
warlock
can
spell list.
that's not a replicable item that you can do as a second level per your actual replicable item list. You have a specific list of things you can replicate at level 2, and that's not on there.
I'm choosing it from the list right now
What list are you looking
on
at?
D&D Beyond.
So the list I'm looking at for second level
Just
architecture in D&D Beyond is Alchemy Jug, Arm Blade, Bag of Holding, Cap of Water Breathing, Goggles of Night, Prosthetic Limb, Rope of Climbing, Sending Stones, Wand of Magic Detection, and Wand of Secrets. That's what I'm looking at. Maybe I'm just looking at the different link. I'm just going
if you
from.
have, I'm on D&D Beyond. It says if you have Xanthar's Guide to Everything, you can choose from among the common magic items in that book. And the Dark Shard is one of the options I have.
All right. That is fine then. That works. Cool. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and end the stream here since we probably could have done that a minute ago. But
Probably.
yeah, so we'll end the stream.
Okay.
Tentatively, right now we will play on Halloween. It's spooky time.
Yay.
And we will pick up where our adventurers
Useful
left
for
off
someone here.
at Dugan Toll.
Okay.
So until next time.